What's going on, everyone? It's Jay the Trader here. I trade contracts on Twitter. Uh, in today's video, I'm pretty much making a remake of the video that I had pinned before, but I'm essentially going to be showing you guys a trading method that I like to use. It's almost sort of a quantitative style of trading, but it involves math, and I kind of like to call it the uh, implied move trading, pretty much. So you could use this on any ticker. You can use this also on Forex, the crypto markets if you really wanted to. But I'm just going to show you guys how I could use this on the SPY and pretty much the rules to it. It's a very simple method, very simple layout as well, and it's not too complicated. As far as indicators go, you don't need any indicators when using this method or this strategy. But if you do have indicators that you like personally, just adding them to this method would only make it that much more accurate. But how does it work? So essentially, what we're doing is we're trying to find a trading range on any particular stock that we're looking at. And we're trying to identify its upper range and its lower range first. The time frame that I like to use starting off is the hourly, and sometimes if the hourly is too, if I see like long candles like this on the hourly, I'll try and go on a bigger time frame or smaller time frame to see where can I identify a range that the current ticker is currently in. If we just look at previous trading history right here, I can easily identify a range right here that price was in, and I can identify a range right here. This in itself is a bigger range that you can identify. And the same with this. This was also a range that you could also identify. But for today's example, we're going to be using um, the past week or so of SPY's trading history, past couple of days. And we're going to see if we can identify a range. So on the hourly time frame right now, I'm already identifying a range. I'm just going to flip to the 4 hour to see if there's anything that I like on there. I could see a range on a 4 hour, but I do like the hourly just because it's a little bit cleaner. You could also see the same range here on the 30-minute time frame. So what I'll do is I'll just go and I'll mark the upper range where I see price normally rejecting from. And then I'll mark the lower range where I would see price normally bouncing at. So now what I'll do next is you can obviously change these lines to whatever color you'd want to, right? So I could put the upper range is green if I really wanted to go long above that, and I could put the lower range is red. But I mean, it's just to each his own, right? But furthermore, we've already identified our current range on the SPY, which is at 412.07 to 416.78. So what we're going to do next is, now that we've identified the upper range and the lower range, I'm going to now take that 416.78 or 416.80, doesn't matter, right? So 416.80, I'm going to take that number and I'm going to subtract that upper range from my lower range, 412.07. So what this will do is this will give me a value. So the value that I got is $4.73. So this range here has an implied move of $4.73. Now, what exactly does that implied move mean? Well, based on the range that I found, if the SPY eventually goes back within its range and breaks above 416.80, we should see an implied move of $4.73 trigger into that breakout and cause a price target to hit. And the same thing with the downside. If we see SPY break and hold under 412.07, there is a $4.73 implied move. So we should see a $4.73 drop if we hold under 412. Now, what would those targets be exactly? Well, above 416.80, if we add $4.73 above that, 416.80 plus $4.73. That gives you a price target of 421.53. So what I can do is I can look for that 421.53 or just under it, and I'll mark that as the implied move upper target. And so with the lower target, what I'll do next is I will subtract 412.07 from $4.73. And that gives me a price target of 407.34. And so what I'll do now is I'll mark that target 407.34. Just right there. I'm just 1 cent off, but I'll mark that target if you really want to. Um, you could change this to red, for your downside target. But essentially, now you have your whole setup at hand. If the SPY breaks under 412.07, you would pretty much hold short below this 412.07, and your implied target will be this 407 area. Now, I kind of know this move will happen. One, because, well, if we do get the hold under, and this is where your experience as a trader and charting comes into play. If we do break under this level, this move here is obviously on low volume, and this is unhealthy. So we could easily uh, bearish engulf this whole setup right here and come right down to this demand area that price had previously broke out from. And the same thing goes with the upside. If we do break up above this 416 area, that'll confirm a triple top breakout, which is rare to come across, right? But that'll be pretty strong enough to take it to that 421 area. And we know that these targets can hit because it's a mathematical target that we literally came up with based on, our implied ranges. Now, adding your other indicators will help with this, but this is how I like to go about trading any stock that I look up. So again, I can do this with the SPY, I can do this with the QQQ, any ticker SPX if I really wanted to. And what makes this strategy stronger is if you know how to implement chart patterns. If you can implement chart patterns, then you'll be able to spot, chart patterns on bigger time frames, and it can then align with a range breaking to the upside or the downside, and you'll understand why it's breaking to the downside. Now, just looking here at the way the SPY closed on Friday, it obviously closed bearish. I don't like how this chart pattern looks. This honestly looks bearish to me. I could easily draw a rising wedge if I really wanted to. Um, some people I know could try and draw a bull flag, but the rising wedge that I'm speaking of is a lot bigger, and it's starting out on this daily time frame here. Um, but even then, as the daily gets extended, obviously things have to pull back, so that also can coincide with you getting these pullbacks and whatnot, or uh, price action lining up with what you've charted out. But again, you can use this on any stock, and it should work as far as you getting your implied move. So if we could even try it on Bitcoin too. So what I'll do is I'll pull up Bitcoin and I'll try it on here. And what you guys can do is from when you're watching this video, you can then pull up Bitcoin afterwards and see if what I did was right. I obviously don't like how it's trading right now. The price action is pretty shit, but I do see the range that it's in. It's in a pretty big range, but I'm trying to see if I can get it much cleaner. That's a pretty big range. Wow. Let me try the 2 hour time frame. Okay. So it seems like Bitcoin is always bouncing there. And it seems like they're having trouble up here. Pretty huge range on Bitcoin, but she's within the range, right? So my range on here is 23,534. and I will subtract that from 22,627. Um, that's about a $907 move. So 23,534 plus 907 gives us about 24,441, give or take. So what I'll do is I'll look for that 24,441 and I'll mark it. We're just a bit off, but I mean, nothing's ever exact, right? And then you can always change this to green if you want it to be clear for you as far as that upside target. And then for your downside, if you do clear under this 22,000, you're going to subtract 907 from it. And that should give you 21,720, give or take. So we're going to look for that. Give or take. So that will be pretty much the move that Bitcoin makes. If she breaks above this 23,534, expect her to tap up here, this 24,400 level. And I mean, she's already tried it, but rejected. And if she clears under this 22,627, she should fall and dump right back down to this 21,000 level. So the reason why I did Bitcoin is because it's moving right now. So people can easily go back and chart this and look at this and keep up with it. But that's essentially the implied range or implied move I have for it. It's a 907 point move. So it's just as far as waiting and setting your alerts and seeing what happens. So if I were to take this, I would probably set my alerts again at the upper range and lower range. And if I see Bitcoin breaking under and holding under this, I'm going to look for bearish chart patterns to line up with what I'm seeing as far as, price breaking under. And then if all of that lines up for me to my liking, as well as my stochastic RSI, leading to short, I was short to potentially this target here. And same thing for the upside. If we can get a break above here and, my stochastic RSI with the chart pattern is having some bullish signaling, then I will go long on Bitcoin and just have targets at 24,400. Take profit area, probably 24,300, just because nothing is exact, but that's how I would go about trading this. This works great with swing trading a lot. So if you love swing trading, if you're trying to get into swing trading, I think this would be perfect for you because it allows you to not be too pressured to take a trade. You're literally letting the trade come to you, and you mathematically have a gist of where the trade could potentially hit if it breaks your trading range. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. If you guys have any questions with this strategy, feel free to message me on Twitter at iTradeContracts. Shoot me any questions, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much.